Hi everyone, I'm Emma, Dora's mummy. This is Dora. We just thought we'd jump on here and do our first ever YouTube video, so bear with me. I'm not too keen on filming myself, but you guys keep asking me a lot of questions about how I introduced this one to Teddy. Teddy's asleep at the moment, so I've got a quick half an hour to be able to try and fill you in on some of the things I did. I'm obviously no expert and I'm not a trainer. These are literally just things that I did that I thought would help. And I mean, it has helped. Obviously, every dog is different. This one's extra licky. But yeah, so I'll try and answer all your questions. I obviously on my Instagram the other day asked for you all to post some questions. So I'll go through some of them today as well and try and answer all those for you. So I think the biggest one is obviously just people want to know how I prepared Dora to meet Teddy. So obviously as soon as I found out I was pregnant, it's probably one of my biggest concerns. Obviously I know Dora's personality and I know how well she gets on with people, so I didn't have too much of a worry. My only real worry was that she's overexcited, and obviously it's just been me and her for a very long time, so it was going to be a big change for her. So really my feeling was, what can I do to make the change slow for her, and also to try and make sure that nothing negative was associated with Teddy arriving. So it probably started as soon as I found out I was pregnant, really. You'll see on my Instagram page I've actually got a video story about how I dog trained Dora to sleep in her own bed. Dora's always slept in bed with me. How could you not sleep with this? But obviously having a new baby meant that I couldn't have her just jumping up and down on the bed. Is it jumping? Do you not know that word? Sorry. So I couldn't have her just jumping up and down on the bed. And no control over that, because obviously I'm going to have Teddy with me. So the first thing I did when I found out I was first pregnant was I trained her to sleep in her own bed. So it wasn't associated with him coming at all. It was just I was teaching her something new to do, and she picked it up really quickly actually, which was really good, and that really helped. And now, if I ask her to sleep in her own bed, it's not because of Teddy, it's just because I've always asked her to do it. She does sleep in her own bed still quite well now. She does come up in the mornings for cuddles, obviously, and she comes up in the evenings as well for cuddles, so she's not totally out of my bed, but when I need her not to be in it, she knows, and that's okay. So that was the first thing I did. I then made sure that anything new that was coming into the house I put up months before Teddy arrived. So I put his crib up in the bedroom, so again she was just used to that being around, and that was just normal. She did try and get in it a few times, but she learned quickly that the bed was not for her. And also I knew that, because I live in quite a small ground floor masonette, so there's not a lot of rooms, so I knew that my bedroom was going to be her safe place if I needed her to have time out. So what I did is I got a child gate, quite a tall one, and I put that on my bedroom door, just so she was used to that being up. And then what I do is, if people came around, she gets very excited when people come around, I'd just give her a little bit of a time out until she calms down, and she'll go in the bedroom and do that. So again, she was used to doing that before Teddy came as well. The pram and everything I put up as well, and that was in the spare bedroom. So all these different new smells that come into the house she knew about. As I bought baby clothes, I'd wash them as well, so she got used to the new fabric smell that was around. I'm trying to think of all the things I did before he came. I think they were the main ones, really. I mean, she's obviously had all her obedience training, so everybody says to me, how do I stop Teddy from licking Dora from licking Teddy? I just tell her no, and she knows what no means. So that was just basic dog training in the beginning. So that worked really well. So anyway, yeah, anything new that was coming into the house, I made sure that none of it was associated with Teddy. So there was no negative association with him at all. She was just used to everything being there, so it wasn't a big, massive change for her straight away. Setting up his nursery. I got a new sofa, new cot, all those sorts of things. So they were all in place quite a few months before Teddy came, so she was well used to that. So I'm just going to look at some questions I got. So I got, were you nervous at all? I wasn't really nervous. I was more apprehensive because I just know how excited she gets, and she can get quite jumpy. And I didn't know if she would realise that he's a little baby, and that he's delicate. So one of the things I did do is some of my friends and my brother has actually got young children and babies, so I made sure they came and visited a lot. And again, I just practiced her having time around them, and she was very excited with them. So again, it was just time out and then slowly introducing them. So she got used to little people being around quite a bit. So that, I think that did help as well. And I've got question is, did you get scared that Dora wouldn't accept the baby? Don't know if I was scared about that. I think I was more scared about not having enough time for her and her feeling quite left out. So I've obviously been quite careful to make sure she still gets as much as my time. And we just do things together now. So Teddy just comes with us when we go for walks and things like that. So I wasn't scared that she wouldn't accept him. I'm scared that she would reject me a bit, I guess. But actually, she has been really good. So yeah. So then I've got what was the biggest challenge you faced when introducing them? So as I've said, her excitedness for people, she loves people, and she gets way too overexcited. So some of the things I used to do was to always make sure when people came to visit Teddy, they always said hello to her first. And actually what I found was the biggest distraction was a toy. So I went to a cheap shop and I just bought a load of cheap dog toys or cheap toys, and I kept them hidden from her. So if someone was coming to visit, I'd give them a toy to give to her, which she thought was the best thing in the world. And she literally spent the whole time basically playing with her toy when they came to visit. So it deterred them looking after or looking at Teddy and things like that. So that really worked really quite well actually. She's got lots and lots of toys now, but that did really work until I calm her excitedness down. If that didn't calm down again, I just put her in time out in the bedroom, and make sure people just kept going to see her all the time as well, so she wasn't too left out. So I've got another one saying, how did you teach Dora to stop kissing Teddy on demand? She's a very licky dog. She wants to kiss everybody. She obviously no means no, which is helpful, but I didn't want it to be something that she couldn't do, so she wanted to do even more. So right from the beginning, I always let her sniff the back of his head, and give him little licks on the back of the head and the ears first of all. So it wasn't a huge novelty for her. So she's always done that since he was brought home. And then obviously as soon as she got too excited, I'd just give her a bit of a timeout again. But that seems to have worked well. She obviously licks him now, and she pushes her luck still and tries to lick his mouth, which I'm not too fussed about because I know she's a very clean dog, but she can be a bit obsessive licker, so I don't want her to lick him over, topple over or anything like that. So she knows what no means. And then what else have I got? How did I introduce them initially? So it was quite tricky because me and Teddy were in hospital for a week after he was born, so she didn't see me or Teddy when he was first born. So when I first brought him home, I actually have got a video of it, but I look awful in it. But I will show a clip of it at the end of this if I can, just so you can see her reaction. She was super, super excited. Um, what I did when I was in the hospital was every time I changed his clothes, my partner would bring him home and put him in bed with Dora, so she got used to his scent and things like that. So we did lots of that during the week that I was in hospital. But obviously it meant that when I came home then, she was super excited to see me, but I was also carrying a baby. So I made sure that I said hello to her first, and then brought the baby in to see her. Again, let her have a good lick. She got very, very excited, as you'll see. And then I just gave her some time out. So it was lots and lots of that. And that probably, her overexcitement was probably for about a good couple of months, to be honest, of her just watching her and having to keep her calm. And timeout is in my bedroom, so she's in a super king size bed with all her toys, so it wasn't too much of a hardship for her, a timeout. But yeah, that really helped for me. So that's what I did with that. What else have I got? How did you make sure Dora didn't feel left out? Again, like I said, I made sure any visitors came around, they all greeted her first. They all sorry, excuse me. They all made a big fuss over her before they even greeted Teddy. They if I could, I gave them a toy to give to her, so that really helped as well. So yeah, the biggest thing really was to make sure, she's used to a big fuss being made over her. So really it was to make sure that that still happened first, and it wasn't straight to the baby and that excitement. So yeah, so that did really help. Was Dora always curious for Teddy, or did that start once he could interact with her? No, she's always been obsessed with him. She, like I said, she loves humans. She loves anybody. So, she's always wanted to just lick him to death. She's just been by his side since I brought him home. So that's quite good. I actually think my biggest challenge now is going to be with Teddy, the opposite way round, because now he loves her and obsessed with her, and already he's crawling up to her and grabbing her tail, and she's obviously starting to realise this little baby now moves and is going to grab me. So I've now got to teach him to respect her and respect her space. So now all I'm doing really is just removing Dora again from the situation if he gets too close to her, and I can see she's sort of a bit nervous or a bit wary, then obviously I just separate them, or just put them at opposite ends of the room at the moment until I can teach Teddy right from wrong. I'm just going to have to watch that a bit more now. I don't think I'm worried about her sort of going for him or anything like that, but it's not nice for her, so I don't really want her to be put in that situation. So I'm going to be watching that quite closely. The question was, Teddy afraid of seeing a huge Dora? I don't think so. Obviously, Teddy's first concept of the world is me and Dora, so we're just normal. We've all both been here from day one. It's quite nice now that she's just normal, and when he sees other dogs, it's just normal to have a dog for him. So I think they're going to have a really nice relationship, and I'm really pleased actually that he's going to grow up not being scared of dogs, and respecting them, and looking after them and things like that. So I think it's going to work quite well. Hang on, just having a look at some more questions. How do I keep her calm around him? Again, she's very calm now. It's only when people come over she can still get a little excited and not really watch what she's doing or where she's walking. So again, I'll just make sure she always has that time out. So that's been 8 months later really, and I'm still making sure she has some space. I don't want her to get into trouble or be blamed for anything. So I'll just remove her from the situation before anything happens. So she's obviously a staff in, they're heavy-footed, and yeah, not that I've had any instances yet, touch wood, but yeah, she's very good around him, actually, really, really good. Just going to see if there's any other questions I can help with. Yeah, so someone's asking a question about noises and experiences. Yeah, I mean, lots of people do play like baby crying noises and things like that, but for me, I didn't do that. I mean, I had things like, that's Teddy waking up. Hang on 1 second. Sorry, I've now got a very snoozy Teddy with me. So yeah, I'm just going to see if there's any other questions that I've not answered. I don't think so. I think that's about it. I think, like I say, these are all just things that I tried and tested and they worked for me. They've obviously got a great relationship now. He's looking at her now. And really, I suppose the biggest things for me was to make sure that there was no negative association with Teddy arriving, to make sure that anything new that's entering the house was in place well before he came, so there's no association with lots of change, and to really make sure that she wasn't left out. It's a massive change for her. She's used to only just me and her, so yeah, I think, like I say, my biggest challenge now is going to be teaching Teddy to give her some respect, and give her some space. So that's going to be quite interesting to do. And perhaps I'll do another video once I've learned how to do that. I'm not sure what we're going to do yet, but he's crawling all over the place now, so it's going to be interesting times. Like I say, I'm no expert. These were literally just things I did, and if there are any other questions or anything I can help with, then just let me know. Thank you.